Handy tool to have, right angle driver, best thing ever when you're trying to get into really tight spots. Progress, no complaints about the indoor-outdoor flow, that's going pretty good, but I was hoping to save a little bit of the framing, but it's just absolutely shot. So basically I'll be able to save a little bit of framing up on the roof, but all the lower stuff is going to be replaced. Time to match the curves on this Caravan. Nice easy way to do it is to make yourself basically a long compass. So I've got a screw on one end and I can mark it off, and I can move back and forth until I get the right diameter, everything matches, and then I can put that arc onto another piece of plywood and cut that out as my template. Nice and easy. To put a new section of this wall in, I'm going with the traditional lap joints that they've been using in this Caravan. Pretty good, nice and easy. Add a couple of screws, it's quite a strong joint, and great for adding the curves in the corner. So nice old-fashioned technique. Couple of tips for framing this up. Number one, I've chosen to go with 3.2 treated timber. This thing has been eaten alive by borer, so I don't want that to happen again. Plus, if it happens to get any moisture in the frame, then this will look after that. Next is the world's come a long way as regards screws, so I'm using these 10 gauge by 65mm long screws. So strong, so easy to put the frame together, and they're plated so they won't rust. And the other good thing to do is when you're doing long curves, same deal, use this jointing technique, and then you can get the grain running in the right direction for strength. Quick little framing update tour. So it's definitely a tale of two halves at the moment. One half new and one half is still pretty knackered. But now what I'll be able to move on is prepping the skin, so I can reclad the skin, put all the strength back in this side, and then I'll be able to strip and start on the other side. So a few little features, nice curves in the front with our lap joints, mid frames, all the window bases are still in. These are all cedar. I like to brace nice and strong around the door, like there's going to be 4 hinges going down this length, so I don't want any flex in that. Avoid that altogether. And then I've put some temporary braces in on this wall. Trying to get things square on old Caravans is quite tricky, so I tend to square everything against the bottom plate, use a big square to do that, and then you can also measure on the diagonals to get it absolutely spot on. But as soon as the aluminium skin's on, these will be coming out and that aluminium will hold it in place. On the inside of the walls, the roof is temporarily being attached to the walls again, just to add some strength while I continue to work on it, so everything's nice and steady. It's starting to look like a Caravan again. One side of the framing is complete, just checked it for squareness, and it's pretty spot on, quite important especially for the windows. Now because I've used treated timber, you have to separate that from the aluminium, otherwise it will react and oxidize the aluminium. So I'm going to do the simple method and paint the outside so that the aluminium is not touching that wood. Save it for the long term. Little trick for you. I've got to get these two panels apart, get this piece of wood off, but there's nails right down this length. And this piece of wood, probably a rare piece, is not rotten. So rather than twist this piece of wood to try and get the nails out, you bend all the aluminium. It's much easier to just go through and drill exactly where the nails are. Drill as close to the panel as you can, and then that should make everything pretty loose and easy to pull apart. So let's give it a whirl. Another little tip, so the board's off, but the nails are a bit of a mare to get out sometimes, especially when they're rusted in there. So what I like to do is just clip them off and then get the pliers, one on each side of the nail, give it a little wiggle, which loosens it out, and then it pops out real easy without damaging your sheet. Panels are prepped. Now I'm going to put, I've cleaned up any oxidization, any dirt and whatnot in behind the panels and on the front of the panels, so that I can roll with primer before I put it back on, and that makes sure that all my seams are primed and they'll stay oxidization free. The glorious moment of truth. Will the panels fit back on to the new framework? Let's give it a go. Oh, must have done something right. Pretty happy with that. Feeling pretty damn happy about that. Success. Take any success. Occasionally things remain a mystery of the build, so these are the old flashings above the windows, and for some reason they didn't go right to the top, so prime place for it to leak. So these are out, and some new longer legs flashing will be in, complete with an overlap to make sure no leaks. Not a fan of those. Just about back to where I began, except nice and solid now, looking pretty good.